Okay, guys, so today we're going to talk about one downside of NoFap. And the longer you go on your journey, we're talking about day 30 plus, you will experience becoming really sensitive to real life women. Let's say if you're dating or you're in a relationship, you're going to become hypersensitive to a woman's touch, a potential woman having sex with you, or just sex itself. And this can be a great thing. This is actually how porn-induced erectile dysfunction gets fixed. It becomes then that you're actually getting kind of excited about having sex, and the physical aspect of it as well as the mental one, it kind of just excites your body enough for it to have a erection in real life. Because if you had a porn-induced erectile dysfunction, then you just wouldn't perform in real life. So that's how it actually gets fixed. You realize that a woman's touch and the mental connection between a woman is kind of what is the natural sexual state of the mind, as I mentioned in my other videos. But this can actually be a very bad thing. And I really think now, after experiencing this, that when you go day 30 plus, you have to try to learn this, especially if you're seeing other women. Let's say you're on Tinder maybe, or on, I don't know, just dating women. And you should probably delete Tinder and other dating sites and apps, and I'll explain why later. But it is because you have to learn now, after experiencing NoFap, now you have to learn how to use this NoFap mentality, the way you avoided urges, the way you have suffered through them. You have to now implement this to a next level, and that is to actually try to not avoid sex, but maybe don't become a slave to it. Just how you learn to not be a slave to pornography and masturbation, now you have to learn how to not be a slave to sex in real life. So I'm going to tell you this story that recently, like, I've studied to retake my high school exams, and when I finished that, it was the second month of summer, and I installed Tinder because I thought, okay, now I managed to get past the goal I set for myself. I did it. I'm still making YouTube. I'm still working on the side. Everything is as usual, but I'm just going to install Tinder to try to find a girlfriend. Because I think that when I was retaking my exams, I thought that it was going to be a distraction, and it would be. So I deleted Tinder because I didn't want any distractions. I wanted to focus on the goal. So at the start of the summer, I kind of let go of myself a little bit, and I actually started having sex because this became my goal, to kind of find a girlfriend. At first, it was kind of accidental because I thought that there was a future potential relationship, so that's why I had sex. But the second one, I actually wanted to kind of experiment with a real life one night stand because I haven't experienced that, at least in a while. So I did that, and what I realized is that, damn, it's really easy to fall, to become a slave to that. It's really, because, you know, with pornography, yeah, you feel bad about it when you, let's say, relapse. But if you've been following my channel for a bit, you know that my NoFap goal is to actually quit this addiction, quit pornography and masturbation, and just go out there, find a woman, create a relationship, and have sex. Because I believe that is what you should do. Because it's not natural to be doing that with yourself, but it is natural to do that with real life women. But it's very easy to fall a slave and to develop this kind of sex addiction. Of course, I don't have it, but it's really easy to start abusing that, because you lose control pretty much the same as with urges. I mean, when I had sex with this girl, there was potential because she said that, okay, I liked it and we might repeat that in the future, So I got excited, that this wasn't just one thing. We can do that again, and we should not put like it's essentially, it was about the hookup culture as it is nowadays, It was just this, okay, it's just sex without feelings, but that I don't think that exists. And I kind of like, because of that orgasm, because of that lust, I got deceived into thinking that. And that is where the danger comes in. You kind of, at least for me, I started to lose my virtues. I don't believe in just hooking up, because it's the same as just seeking pleasure. And I did that, At first, I wanted to experience that. And I think that's okay to do that like one time. But I started to see myself wanting to do that more and more. The same as when I had the pornography and masturbation addiction. It was pretty much the same. You just start to think about that stuff. You want to do it, and you have this urge, and you try to control, but you give in, So I started to think about this girl more and more. I texted her in total 3 times on different days, thinking that maybe she would be free. She wasn't. And either if it was an excuse or if she really was not, free, I think that's really good that I didn't go there again, because like it's a steep hill down. I think if I would just let my behavior do this to just seek pleasure, it's going to be the same as with pornography and masturbation. As I said, it's still just a pleasure. And you should, if you're focusing now, let's say on finding a girlfriend, then focus on that. Focus on a real relationship. Don't just have sex on the second date. Let's say if the girl you're seeing wants to have sex on the second date or the first date, she's not relationship material. And so are you if you agree to do that. So just now, I believe in my last video, as I said, you have to first build value as a boy to turn yourself into a man. And then once you're valuable, once you have this status, once you have the foundation to kind of take care of yourself, then you can take care of another woman and create a family. Because that's what I've heard from Elliot Holtz, and I really believe now that this is the path. You should just focus on building yourself up, working, career, top priority. Of course, there's philosophy, there are habits, working out, diet, all of the other great stuff that makes a man. When you build yourself like that, then all the other women who are not interested in you now are going to look at you. And I think you said this really beautiful. There are going to be a lot of women nowadays that want to have sex with you while you're young, but now many of them will want a relationship, or at least if they get into a relationship with you, they're not going to last. So build yourself up, that's the thing, and try to go away from the hookup culture. I don't want to turn into a man who just seeks women, because that's the same as just seeking pleasure. I'm not disciplining myself. What I found out is that when there is a woman, either let's say on Tinder, now I'm going to talk about why you should delete it, but there is like a woman on Tinder, or you have a girlfriend, you're young, let's say you're in your 20s and you have a girlfriend. I think it's really hard to not constantly think about her, or at least it's difficult to kind of focus on other things, because I remember that, when I was on Tinder, I would usually just think, oh, I should go to swipe now, my likes are recharged, or I should text this girl, I should do this, and I forget my priorities. I forget YouTube, I forget to study psychology, I forget to study philosophy, the same things that I've been doing every day and working on them consistently. I started to lack in those areas, because I was wondering about, I wasn't clingy, I wasn't just I wasn't simping, but it was just in part of my mind, oh, I should text this girl, I should text this girl, okay, let's see if we can go on a date, and so on. And what Jordan Peterson said is that on Tinder, I recently seen a podcast. I'm going to link in the description down below, but it's about the boy crisis. And also there was this little part where he mentioned about Tinder and how it actually works. So, men fear approaching women in real life, like on the street. Why? Because they're afraid of the rejection. And it's actually kind of a evolutionary thing. I mean, because what he said is that once a female rejects you, what she really is saying is that your genes are not appropriate enough for me to carry them into the next generation, And that's why many men fear this. And dating sites like Tinder, they kind of how do you say this? They kind of eliminate this part of rejection, because when you like, you don't see the women that don't like you. You only see the likes and the people you matched with. Also, when you text a girl, if she doesn't respond, okay, there's no scene, there's no nothing, unless I think you get the premium or whatever. But that's besides the point. The rejection from a message is not as severe as in real life. And when you try to avoid that, it's not really, if you meet up with a girl, that's not really a good, it's an easy mode. And what we're doing on this channel, we're trying to, we know that life is hard, and we're trying to work, we're trying to delay that instant gratification in order to reach that long-term fulfillment and self-respect for ourselves. And so if that is really easy, because, well, it is. When I just focused on Tinder, I was instantly having sex. You just have to put a little bit of effort in. But what is more difficult? To actually go out there in real life and talk to just cold approach women. And right now, I don't think that you should be doing that in your 20s. As I said, because I watched Elliot Hulse, and I really think that his idea has a lot of grounding. I mean, let's talk about this then. If you're afraid of asking out women, if you don't have much experience with them, if you, let's say, are a virgin, I think then, yes, maybe you should try to go out there and talk with a woman, maybe have that one night stand, or preferably create a relationship, because it's going to teach you a lot. But if you're like me, who has been with women and kind of experienced all of that, I think now it's time to kind of sit back and reflect on it, reflect what you really want, and don't let yourself get caught into this instant pleasure of having sex. Sex is a really powerful thing. It's not something. It is pretty similar to pornography and to masturbation, not in a activity type of way, but in an addiction kind of way. If you let yourself get to be caught in that, I mean, it's the same thing. I think I've repeated this many times throughout this video, but I just wanted to kind of nail the point here. So again, if you are in your 20s and you haven't experienced women, don't be one of those guys who just goes MGTOW, reads a lot of stuff, and then, oh, okay, women are evil. And he kind of, because I think that for some men, it's kind of a fear thing, like a real fear thing, or they have been rejected many times and became resentful to women. And that's why they give up. And under this MGTOW, under this, all those pills or whatever, they kind of put this mask on and say that, yeah, women suck and so on. It's so hard to get into a relationship nowadays. Women are not traditional anymore, and just all of that, because they're rationalizing in a way. They just fear to actually put more work into that to kind of actually get into that relationship, to get that woman. I really believe that. But if you're not one of them, if you actually experience that, if you experienced a relationship, if you now know that women reject you, the women that reject you is actually an opportunity to learn. I mean, if they reject you, that means you haven't built yourself as a man yet. But once you will, then those same women are also going to be your age, let's say, if you're trying to date women your age, and they're going to be really interested in you. But then the power dynamic shifts, and then younger women are going to want you, and you're not going to deal with the women your age now. So just build yourself up. Join me in building yourself up. But if you're just doing this out of fear, remember that first experience it, and then once you build control, once you build that discipline, then go out on this more of a building yourself up as a man journey. So that's the message of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more weekly self-improvement content. You can support this channel both on Patreon and PayPal, and if you want, you can follow me on Instagram, and all the links to everything are going to be in the description down below. Thank you for watching this video again, and stay on your journey.